All right, so we're good to go. Bill Cordwell, hand up.
A couple things that you said. I'm pretty sure we had discussed this at one of them. And for anybody that doesn't know, Scott comes monthly to the golf council meetings, so he's very accessible. Gets a lot of information from the members. You know, we're getting a pretty good working relationship together. So this isn't that comes once every once in a while. You know, so he's here quite often.
Tell him when the last one was. Last meeting. I think they disbanded one in November.
Probably. November was the last one. Probably. Yeah. Right. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. But I thought in one of those meetings we discussed how good the weather was last year, and then you said in June we had 18 inches. That didn't just stick with me, and I'm sorry I had to check, but for my little fancy phone here, weather.com, we only had 4 inches of rain in June. So I don't know what that has to do, but I don't know why they had 18 inches of what that did. Also, you talked about unrealistic budgets before, but if we hadn't lost our package rounds last April, the previous company, I think, would only miss their budget by $18,000, which is pretty good of a $1.5 million budget. So, I thought because we try to do realistic budgets here, not pie in the sky, that's what we're trying to get at. So don't feel like, to say that, that's what we're trying to get at, realistic budgets. You talk about double booking there in a few different areas, and that scares a lot of people when you talk about double booking. You said, is it like the airlines thing? That scares me as a member when you're talking about increased revenues with, less rounds and all that. If I show up as a member and a package player is booked into my spot, so that we're double booked for that spot, are you going to tell me as a member I'm taking the package person and getting that revenue?
That's a good question. No. What I'm saying, and I probably should learn, but I probably should learn not to use that term now. Here's what it really means. I'm going to try never to say no to somebody who wants to pay us. And that means we might set the 5 or we might take them 5. So is there really a tee time that we can, is there really a tee time on the tee sheet that we can assign them to? The answer is that. But that doesn't mean there's not space on the golf course that they can play, and then we can accept their money. That's really all. If there's space available on the golf course, we're going to try to accommodate that. We want to pay you.
So you're saying you might put them in a cart and run them out to number 5 to start.
Well, is Bill right? You do double book?
No, we don't really double book, but it would. But I use that terminology.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I use that terminology to describe a situation where if somebody calls and I want to play golf at 9 o'clock, we don't have 9 o'clock. In fact, we don't have tee time at 11:30. I'm going to try not to chase them away because I know that if I put them out, I know where my golf course is and where there's be space available for him to go play. Question is, when he comes around to number 1, he starts on hole 5, what's the tee time at number 1? That's really where the matter is. It's the easy part to say, there's no put it. So no, it doesn't displace a member or any other paying person, but it's an accommodation. You basically start that person on any call. Now, some of the things that we would do is say, look, I don't have a first tee or a 10th tee available. But if you come out, I know there's going to be room. Well, you might have started number 5. Does that matter to you? No, it doesn't matter to me. Fine. So there's no spot actually on the tee sheet, but yet we find a way to present that person.
And if that person says no, I don't want to start at 5.
Well, then we actually can accommodate. He says, under certain conditions, I want to
can accommodate.
It's not a but it is a mentality. are going to try hard not to chase anybody who says, "I'm
Yep.
paid to play golf at Ocean Pond." We're going to try to accept them. We do it at every facility, and it's just a mentality. Say,
Now, I know that we had some problems, John, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we had some problems, I think, with Golf Now last year, booking the same times, same tee times for two groups and send them here. Okay, we're here. We paid our money. What are you going to do for us?
Yeah, that was just a problem that they had with their system. That wasn't our issue.
Right.
It was an issue we had to deal with.
yes, it becomes our issue. It's like,
You're right. It becomes our issue. So they take our money.
Well, I got a question, Bill. Dave. Is that a new policy, starting somebody off at an advanced hole if it's open? I mean, based on you guys being here, has that happened in the past? Because there's some golf courses that won't do that. Is that a new policy?
We've done that. It just depends on what's going on in the golf course as far as meeting. For the members, they come out. We try to get people out there where we can. I don't think
Mostly like 1 to 10.
Right. For the most, I mean, we have people out on sometimes.
when we have a shotgun start, it's sort of the same thing.
At a tourney or something
Yeah.
like that? Of course.
It should be the
Yeah.
same.
I understand.
On an average day, other than shotgun starts, I've gone off on anything except one.
1 or 10.
1 or 10.
How about this scenario is you got a slow group out there and there's 3 holes behind them. Run a that comes in and wants to play, we'll put them in a court. Run them out because
We may,
That could
but
be.
it sounds like we haven't been doing a good job of maintaining pace and some of the other things. All with it.
Well, I understand what it's got a talent. I mean, I've been here long enough to hear times when somebody behind me say, hey, I mean, that's half hurt. And now that goes back, a number of years. But certainly, if you had enough members here, at any rate, it's a good thing because people don't show up. People don't show up. So we had a policy for a while that that penalized not showing. I mean, you lose your place in the rotation. Lottery. That's
It is, yeah, sure. It's all computerized.
Well,
Can I ask a
If I could
question?
mention, there's another time that would become active. If you have a frost delay, we don't necessarily push all the tee times back to actually they shot. It's sort of that same. Make sure we have some fun until the frost is off. Put it out there. Not be a shot.
You were talking about a new category of member walking, allowing members to walk. Are you going to charge a trail fee or anything of that nature?
Nope.
So you just give up the cart fee.
Well, that's where the analysis comes in, and that's right where we have to go to find out. Well, is that a good idea? Or not? If we thought we're going to lose 20, 30, 40,000 cart fee, say how many members are going to join because of that? Where's the offset balance? We looked at it and we thought, nobody's not going to
withdraw the plan.
Yeah. Nobody's going to. If there are, it's so we predict that there are so few are not. And if you look at the upside, I mean, I'm telling you, there are a lot of people that revert that trail fee and that mandatory cart fee in the morning that I've never done. Now, can we do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday? No. Can we do it to everybody? No. But to a member, remember that? We're just talking about members.
I heard it. Member.
So,
Monday through Thursday.
yeah, that's another incentive. Join your member. Try to eliminate it and eliminate downside and create upside.
given the age and so forth, members now, in a period of time that variety parts, I don't get massive change. Some,
yeah.
but even if you're looking at members, but I would think it's thought that the instant trail. That was 2006, 2007. It's a long time. They still have members.
It's like the
No problem,
the
Walker.
it's like the Ursay Colts.
You know, when you said the other day about getting the application from a guy, I have a friend here who only comes down every 2 or 3 weekends, who was a member, is now over Bay Club because he could walk weekends.
I'll be darned.
And he wants to come back. This is much better for us. He says it all the time, but I would get weekends. So when you said, I got excited when you said it from first, and then later on you clarified Monday through Thursday.
Well, you know, there's an evolution of some of these policies. I mean, what if we found an explosion member? But what if there's an offset there that became very member to actually say that we're going to try it, even as a trial period?
It does an option.
There's a risk. So, right? First, you're keeping it as a test, but there is a try not to protect risk.
So how many people members? It used to be the weekends were deal. Members now, most of them are around that.
They are.
Yeah. So the number of members who are on as well.
To build off on what Bill was saying, I thought there was something in the work you invite back to 3 hours.
Yes.
To sit down and talk, find out what it is they like. They don't entice them to come back. Where you're going to have some
Yes.
maybe here or someplace else.
Actually, there is a report. It's actually on our membership template. You through some of that.
I have, and I've spoken either through email, on conversation in person, some on the phone, just talking with a lot of people about that. Several have moved away, some passed on. A few people have been hurt just this week. They were saying, well, now that I'm starting to heal up, a couple of them said they had intended to come back. They still played here, but they weren't members because they weren't playing enough. But they felt that now some of the medical problems were good, and that's where they would get. So there has been, a lot of it's been really good, the feedback that we got. A couple people talked about walking. In fact, Scott mentioned earlier that we had an inquiry on Friday morning about that. But I think that, I think the biggest bulk of what we've seen, aside from, I don't have all the information, 2006 or 7 when people backed out, but I know it's just talking to people around Ocean Pines, that was definitely a big thing. And then, we started talking last week about Monday through Thursday, see if that helps out, let it evolve, like Bill was saying. We talked about the weekend, but we thought we'd might be best to just start with the weekday first and see how that goes.
As far as development plans, attracting new members, I know you talked about service, the other things that you're now talking about. What about trying to grow the young people, 16 and under? Thought about things like if they come with a paying member, they get to golf for free. Those kinds of things. What kind of marketing plans do you have targeted in that direction?
We do have junior rates, so they don't have to pay full fare. I think that might be 15 for 9, something, depending on the time of year. And we do have a junior membership that's available. With we feel success for our junior programs. This year, we used to have a few junior members. Some moved away. One or two got hurt. But that kid got knee injuries and things like that, play golf. But we think with junior membership and how our junior golf, we do think we get more junior members this year to build on.
Do you think there's value in trying to have some kind of a promotion where it's free, an underage person to come with either a member or a paying golfer? And that would maybe be for underage golfers as well as people who are trying to introduce clients for business purposes. Come out and play with me. This person is a business associate that I'm going to try to get them to start playing here, so they can get round free of the playing that day. Any kind of promotional marketing, things like that.
Actually, what your there's a program we have called the Ambassadors Program. We started this because there was an issue with guest fees, and gosh, when I want somebody to come out, I have a guest fee and it's all money because it's basically resident. So what we did was we actually packaged guest passes, each one of the membership categories. I believe the lifetime 6
5 or 6
guest passes, and it went down to 2, to the least of the. That idea that look, you can if you have a house full of guests, you can bring your house guests at that rate is required that they play with a member, and there's a cart fee associated with that. And the way that can be used otherwise is it if somebody does become, how it fits with your question, if it does become where that person actually ends up joining, that member gets, so it's always used that way, it's replenished that way. And that actually that was a pretty big hit with membership because it solved a rate issue, a neighborhood and resident issue, and enhanced their membership out. That had to do with what do we get for our membership. And so it was, it was an affordable thing to do.
Have you reached out to the area businesses to offer any sort of package to them, as well as real estate agents, incoming, prospective buyers, etc.?
I wouldn't say that we've actually done that yet. That's part of what we are intending to do. There's actually a program to get connected to the right people, real estate people. There's also a plan. Sort of, I mentioned this too. We have we have a lot of homeowners who are rent-to-tenant. Now, if we could identify who those people are, that they buy a membership at a reasonable rate and package it as a way to fill their tenant space quicker than downtown or a vicinity or something like that. So it's a I know that we know that there's an avenue there to increase that sale. How to find it, to actually maneuver within that idea, we haven't actually know what that.
Yeah, it seems like while people aren't really involved right now, we're head in that direction. Marketing.
Well, there's no question we're using it for marketing efforts. It's we're not everywhere. We're focused on actually most recently the marketing activity count, basically that are trying to do it, time it up, triggers produced as a tool to make sure we track as we go through the season. You have a color collateral membership brochure that we you have that now. Tomorrow night. All right, we'll bring it tomorrow night, and it's actually part of the face-to-face communication. It's part of the record. It's part of the sales process. It's part of what we have on the calendar. Interested in membership, and last time that was produced, I don't know when it was produced last, but it's pretty old. And we created something new. We're actually looking for testimonials of members of why it's a good value, what we're excited about. Might be expecting too much right now, but nice person said, I have seen it change. Or I remember how it used to be. So we want to package this whole thing as a message, not only what the rates are, the specifications, but some of the other junior program. What else is in there? Put some testimonial, welcome letter.
Right.
So it's actually a color collateral that is a face-to-face situation. So that's actually just produced that finalized that Friday, and you actually produced it
Print it
yesterday.
out, yeah.
Yeah, I see on your business plan on page 15, you talk about some spring. You say that you have the best market.
Yes.
What do you base that on?
Actually,
Bus, probably.
probably the word on the market. Just first, I know what a great game is like. That's sort of my background. And I watch balls roll. I watch the process.
What,
Very large,
We're getting feedback
interesting,
from
and
the
you're getting
golfers that are
feedback from
coming.
the golf.
when you use the market,
Yes.
what size area are you talking about? When you say market? Are you talking about just here on the shore,
Here,
or are you
so-
talking about regionally? What do you?
Here, all the way up the East Coast, up into Canada, west.
Oh, so you're taking a
Pittsburgh.
big area. And you're saying this is the best.
And actually, that's what's so interesting about the pack play. They want to play. They want to play disc golf. And they always wanted to play this golf. But it wasn't always in great condition. Now that it has great green, you really want to. Was it you that said that you got a call on? I haven't played in 4 years.
Yeah, last Friday.
Same thing, sitting me up.
Yeah, I got a phone call from a lady in Pittsburgh, and they played here about bad shape, and so they decided they were never going to play here again. One of the things we do is we're on Endless Golf with Bobby Pavilion. She was sitting there last week and watched the show in her living room, so what all the kids. Yeah, we booked her for October 1st. So that's just nice, that kind of marketing. It just goes to show that some of the stuff is going. And that's a specific instance, like, that's kind of work.
Do they want it rate? Is that something that's in the rate?
It is, yes.
This is for daily use, not the membership. Daily rate for, like, yeah, that's in, because I didn't even see it in the fees, page 18.
Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's here, we market it. We get a lot.
Okay. How about any sort of a, some type of sports? To entice them to become members too, even though they don't live here all year round?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't.
You know, that's one of those, where did that question? So, 30 play round, which maybe is too much. But after a while, you get to be, what really is a membership?
Well, like, you know, like the women's 9-hole group, play night. And to be in that group, you need to be a member. To be a part of that group. Now, years ago, they broke that 30-round play, and you could play 9 holes. So a lot of the women buy that membership, which is a limited membership, and could play in the group. And they decided to change it to only 18 use. They lost like 6 members right off the bat the first year. Lost 6 members. Now, those women also, they spend half the time in Florida a year because they go down every winter. So the full year's membership is not cost effective now. So now they don't play in that league. And there's a lot of women, elderly women, that would love to be in that league, but they're not afforded that opportunity because the membership isn't available.
Yes. Now, that you mentioned several dynamics that we're actually trying to change. First of all, the 30 play rate was established off 18. And so it's a reduced rate on 18. When you use it as a 9-hole rate, you have a double discount. So that's primarily why. It wasn't to be mean or reduce memberships or anything like that. It was, well, after a while, what is a membership and how much can we afford to opt, which is being used how regarding rate establishment. The other dynamic that we talked about is, I went back to this club operating, and if you were a member of this club, we were getting communications from, as though it was from Ocean Pines Country Club, communications from club within a club when we had nothing to do with it. So that's not the way it exists at a country club. It's a club affair, and it is it might be a member guest. It might be where there's certain groups that want to retain their special only group play, but that also is exclusionary to something. That's also, we want you, but we don't want you. Well, I don't know how often can you grow some member interest if you don't expose member prospects to what happens as you remember. So the idea is to be more inclusive and to try to, some of these events, not all the events, some are reasonably protected, to entertain or to show other member prospects what it's like to be a member. Yeah, you understand it. That has to be a component. Otherwise, I have to bring my whole group of guys to play together because it's just better if a lot of those events are actually reasonably that the membership championship should be this became a big issue. What about the club championship? Do you have to be a member to be a club champion? I don't remember. A lot of members that aren't members of it actually represents the people that play at the club, not necessarily the members. So we actually, I think, arrived at the conclusion we need to have we're going to do that, we're going to have a Ocean Pines championship and an Ocean Pines members championship to distinguish that, to protect the interest of members in that regard. Otherwise, there's some members who feel like they're on the championship. And, but we want to do away with everything as possible. It's exclusionary. This miscommunication, there's a club within a club within a club. We are Ocean Pines Golf. And that's why the communications should be coming from John and the manager. The managing the events, planning and managing events, it's not in a silo. It's not like we don't care what you say. It's working with the members, sure that we do enhance it. But it's really operating the events for the members instead of the members saying, here's what we're going to do, John accommodating the event. That was fantastic.
I had a question.
You talk a little louder in here.
Yeah.
Back when I was over there.
Yeah, I guess the thing that ran across my mind is who's going to do it? You have enough staff to do that?
Yeah.
You think so? Really?
It actually, if you
I
think
mean,
about it,
do you, Bill? I mean,
I've been in this conversation a few times.
well, I mean, I mean, the issue is right now you have a lot of volunteer members who are running their events. Of course, that's reasonable since they are their events. Now, if they're
they're
LU's
planning.
events or the club's events, I mean, I'm skeptical about the ability of staff, any staff that I've seen for about to be able to take fully over those events as members. But,
And we understand that sentiment. However, when the members plan the events and then turn it over to John to run the event that day, where is not even to run the event, to accommodate the event on the tee sheet, to make sure. I mean, it's really hard to understand what the difference is. That's what golf professionals do. John has a history of doing that. That's what we do at other clubs. And like I say, the planning and how we arrive at the event, there's always going to be an ambassador club, a lead person.
There'll still be a tournament chairman or a
Chairman.
committee chair or something like that. We're not going to dictate to the members. The partnership between them. It's just that we become accountable for the member being accountable. Making sure everything gets done in communications out there for.
And a primary reason that we're doing that is so we can, to our best of our manager's ability, get other member prospects to experience membership and an improved membership value, whether it's social event or golf event, that have to grow. There's got to be value added membership. And we're thinking that's not all of it, not any one of these things is, that makes a big difference. Might for a few people, but it's the way that we have a business plan for membership development, protecting the members, catering to the members, making it work.
you're saying two things at the same time. You're saying members and prospective members. So you're talking about
Right.
something like that, offering members and prospective we know who the members are, but respect the members. All right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
you're opening it up, basically.
Well, some events are already open up. We're not talking about a men's day, President's Cup, or whatever. Whether it's our Sunday social, it encompasses everything. Certain members only event, and try to get fun.
So you're trying to expand the number of events that we inclusive.
Really well
Yeah.
said.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that partial answer to this question. I looked at these business plan numbers. And there's no differentiation. Well, I guess there is. You have resident terms of fees, and that has to be. We have to have residents for local fees, so you have to separate. But to go back to the part of business, you got member, you got non. Are you going to track? I believe that couple's package play with, the guy who went across the street to play golf, and they are different. I believe that came in. You say focus on expanding play amongst the residents of the community. Ocean Times, I believe that was your primary focus. I see a little bit of that in here, but not a whole lot. I don't know how you're going to do it.
I'd like to be able to point to one thing and say, this is what's called. But the adjustment to policies, the attitude, the walking AM, there's a reason they're not playing. Look, some of it might be because this golf course is too difficult. I don't want to play this golf. I wrote that in the business plan, and I thought it's a perspective that's actually true. This golf course is the most mismatched design, challenge, difficulty level of difficulty
For the population.
for the population that's.
I was going to say, be careful now.
Well, I would.
Treading on
You couldn't
toes
tell me.
here.
You couldn't tell I was being careful. So, I mean, it's yes, it is. Now, yet we have a lot of members who say this is the golf course I want. Well, if every one of the population felt that way, it would be easier. But that's not how it happens. We just don't want this golf course.
It goes back to our vision statement
Yes.
with us being a green year. So had to have a year type golf course, I guess, we decided. I don't know.
Well, this golf course.
That'd be my guess about why they chose to have that design.
Our golf industry made there for a long time. We were making longer, more challenging golf. Just what we did. In fact, there were business plans that said, "I want the most difficult," except in a very small segment. You go to the most successful club. It's about fun. It's not about. It's about a fun golf course with great putting. It's about. It's a test of golf, but it's a test of golf. It's not unduly punchy. Well, this golf course, you have to bring your A game. And I say this from homeowners. I say this, hearing it, homeowners in Ocean Pines who are part-year residents. They own a home and they don't rent it out. They come down every weekend. And I employ them in addition. And I hear that. I got that. I have a conversation at the smoke shop up in Silver Park about some of the challenges this specific project relates to golf. But that's why Great Green. That's why this is really important. And
I think that business about this is really good. That's a little overstated. Okay, I mean,
What?
it
What's
depends.
up?
That this is an extremely difficult golf. It's certainly a challenging golf. I mean, I'll grant you that. But I mean, if you look at it from a different, I mean, you have a range of teams that you play. And you don't have to hit over stuff. I mean, I'm not in one of my bad golf tournaments where I'm usually standing on the city street trying to get over a bunch of trucks and stuff. You don't lose a lot of golf. I mean, you don't hit it very far. I mean, you don't. You're right. I mean, and you don't get them playing. I mean, there's an awful lot of opportunities to play this golf and around problems and so. But it depends upon your expectations and what you shoot. Yeah. I mean, I just don't buy that. Courses, anybody can play this. I'm not saying what's their score, but anybody can play.
I think so.
And you can't do that, by the way, over at Eagles Land. You have to hit over stuff, a lot of those.
In the golf industry, I've learned a lot more about golf than I ever wanted. Golf industry, as I understand it, is we're actually possible, first possible, because we're not totally open, we're not a totally public course, and we're not a totally private course. In that, what I've been reading is totally private. I'll call them real high-grade country clubs are doing okay, and totally public courses, some of them are doing okay. But we're kind of in that middle ground, which is possibly the worst and most challenging spot to be. So I guess part of the question that I know Tom and I have talked about is, what are we doing about addressing that challenge? Because I keep hearing membership, snowbird membership. What are we doing for the golfer today who wants to play multiple courses and doesn't want to get locked into a course, but wouldn't mind locking in good package for playing here multiple times, but not unlimited times? So is there any thought process to that being a product that you would come out with that would allow? Now, I realize you're going to lose full memberships when you do that, so I'm not saying go do it. I'm saying, what is the thought about how do you address that market reality that I've been told by many golf management people that golfers today want to be able to play multiple courses. They don't want to play just their course.
Sure. We have some of that with our resident rates.
Yeah, okay.
So that addresses some of it. We also have a limited membership. We have people that have a limited membership that still play elsewhere.
Right.
They just buy it because it gets them. They can play it at any event or member event, but they can also get a discounted rate. So there's a couple things right there.
One of the things sort of for that you suggest a package with swimming and as I understood it, on the rationale for doing that, if you feel the younger families who really with children perhaps, or non-spouses who are non-golfers, so that you sort of justify the expense of joint membership. It's not just about for the woman really wants to play. But I mean, you still think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I understand it's a very complex consideration because it sort of unravels some other business plans too, and it I think it's believed, or I strongly believe, that it does reach a younger group, and this club is missing that younger demographic. And you don't get younger demographics, younger members in onesies and twos. You get them in groups because, well, they like to play with their own.
Yeah.
I just said that. They like to play with their own. If there aren't enough of their own to play with, those onesies and twosies leave. So if you look at 4s and 8s and 12s, now you've got a nucleus. And I'm thinking that maybe that nucleus is easier attained from this is scary, from outside than it is from inside the community, unless there's an economy of scale. Make sense?
the economy of scale being.
If they can join the swimming, they're already joined, and the golf it's not just taking, and this is where the conundrum is, it's not just taking the cost of the swim access and the cost of golf and add up that cost, that membership. There has to be, that's not what it was actually. The concept was that by reducing the cost of a combination membership, that it would sum off the golf, sum off the swimming, that you'd grow golf and swimming members to the component that you would have. And it's because that's what you have the amenities for anyway. It was that kind of thing. And man, I really do. Man, that's getting flying. But I really do understand that was and because it affected not just the golf business plan, it affected the entire business plan of all the amenities.
I don't I've been on the board a long time, and I'd like to hear why that's possible.
Well, nothing here is impossible. We had discussion about it, but the truth of the matter is it was reducing pricing in one amenity, right? Pool memberships, which are actually the aquatics department's actually growing and things are improving there, and we were looking at reducing their revenue stream with a combined membership. Which we didn't feel was appropriate at the time. That amenity's improving. It had marked improvements. Why would I reduce the revenue on it? Second factor is, if we're going to do it for one, we need to look at it holistically, and do we group it with all the racket sports? Do we do a combination? You can't just pick swimming. I mean, swimming's actually growing. So we're going to say we're going to combine those two and not look at anything else. Just for me, was not a realistic approach by picking one of the amenities that continues over the last 2 years to show growth and programming, and they are growing to tie it to potentially declining membership. It just wasn't. It didn't seem. I'm giving you the perspective on it. I mean, that was the rationale.
It's not necessarily the same. First of all, I don't know whether actual numbers were discussed or on the table. I haven't seen it, so what the joint prices would be or anything like that. Secondly, say you have to do it for one for anything we want to do it. You don't have to offer it to brackets. You don't have to offer it to the yacht club people. You don't have to. Okay. No, you can decide that swimming and golf membership is feasible, and on an experimental basis, we can just do it. And by the way, I really don't care. I mean, you're not talking about, you have to prove that there's actually some harm in aquatics if it happened. And if it did, and it improved golf, I care about the whole thing. I don't care about who's ahead of who in terms of getting better or not.
Again,
we're not competing with each other.
You have an opinion on it, as board members certainly do. I gave my rationale behind.
Well, I think one of the things
accept it, Bob. I accept it, but I don't agree.
I think one of the things you have to consider is who's driving the request. In other words, if it comes from aquatics and they want to form a joint, membership type with golf, or if it comes from golf and they want to form a joint membership with aquatics, there's got to be a meeting of the minds. There's got to be a win-win so that aquatics is getting something out of the program and golf is getting something out of the program. And, quite honestly, Bob's rationale makes sense in terms of lost revenue to the aquatics group by having a joint membership at a discount to, let's say, the aquatics program. Now, if I look at the numbers and I'm an individual, let's pick it up, $13.50 for, full membership for the golf course. What would it be for an individual at the pool? 800?
No.
Ballpark, just give me a ballpark. 700? Make it 700. We'll make it 2,050 bucks.
315.
Okay, 3. So we're talking about $1,617, $1,600. $67 for a full membership, individual individual membership to both. And is that what you sell? $1,617 membership?
No, that probably doesn't get the younger crowd. That's because they could buy that now.
It's not discount. No, it's full
No, you got a
price.
discount.
Right, so no, they want to reduce.
I understand.
Both of
No,
them.
I understand, but that
So
puts one entity at a disadvantage in terms of revenues flow, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
but you're
correct.
bringing more. So you're saying that no
But-
office would have more expansion.
But if you go from
You may pull in more
20% of your residents using one of the two amenities to 40%, that upside as revenue flows. It could be as simple as, you can massage this any way you want. For instance, what if you got a golf membership and you, for the same price, and there was a 3 or 4 month swim membership included at no charge, but it would be, I don't know, I saw you look at it. What do you? But what if it were for the off season?
For what?
The off season. What if we're for certain months? That would create some exposure. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be 12 months. Buy the golf and get the swimming. What if you buy the golf and get them exposed to the swimming at no charge?
Or since aquatics is growing, aquatics will give you a free membership of golf for 3 months.
We make it less, but
But make it less. See, there's where the rub. That's what we were talking about before.
Well,
No, but hear me out. This was the discussion we had on. Want to know? I mean, these were the discussions we had from a perspective. The initial presentation, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, on. We're looking at approximately using 1,300, and I think 50 is the golf. Okay, and then 300 for golf membership. 16. The original discussion was okay. Basically splitting 100 off the revenue for aquatics, 100 off the revenue for golf. Well, that's 1/3 of the membership fee for aquatics. How's that even proportionately close? That was not a reasonable solution for me. And all it does is, yes, please, yes.
If there may be some golfers that don't have a swim membership, that wouldn't buy a swim membership, but if they could get it at a discount because they're golfers, now they would get that joint thing, and you would increase the amount of people that are as a swim membership.
But you're reducing.
That would happen.
you're-
There's no data to prove that would
That's why
happen.
the
Is there?
correct.
No,
Well,
there's-
that's why they would have.
There's no data to prove it won't.
Well, that's true.
So it's not a static kind of formula. It's an organic circular file.
But you're also tying a declining membership. My rationale and my reason I feel so strongly about this, we've demonstrated aquatics is growing. We've made some changes there, management change. We now have an entity that's moving in the positive direction, which is what we're looking for. We still have a decline with the golf. So why would I tie an entity that's growing under a certain management style, and their team's doing very well, and so, okay, now we're going to reduce your opportunity to continue to create memberships and classes and full time on a very limited resource, especially in the wintertime. You're bringing up only doing it in winter. Our space is very limited during the winter time, for the prime time when classes and such are offered. So now I'm going to further limit that opportunity for them.
Well, I don't know
Why
how.
would they leave? If they're swimming.
How would they? How would they
Again, I'm not going to. I don't have all the documents directly in front of me. I'm telling you, that was my rationale behind it. And I feel very, very good, and I can support it. And I believe my rationale was solid. You have a declining net. We need to focus golf on golf and make them full before we start trying to attach. And if we are going to attach, then we need to open it up to attach to all the amenities.
So here you
And
go.
not
Give
just one.
4 free passes to
Oh,
Give
her for
See?
go with the golf
See?
membership.
See?
You know what?
See?
You know what?
See?
See what you've done now?
You know what?
No, actually, that's a
Beach clubs,
wonderful idea.
You do.
If you have space available. If you have space available,
Well,
I have a hard time understanding.
how about-
But I understand there's a complexity.
how about a compromise, somewhere in between where you test market it, maybe say there may be 15 of these memberships available, and test market it so that your downside is only like And she gets one of them.
And what other amendment?
Oh,
Oh,
what
he
other
gets
amendment?
four, thank you
The
very
four.
much.
So
You got that right.
You only have, what other amenity is, right?
You've got racket sports.
Yeah.
You've got beach club.
and you
You've got
Well,
right.
we already do beach club in a sense.
In a sense, but if you're going to do it for all. You say in a sense, in the sense of collective circular folly, we talked about that. Throw them all in the bucket.
In the sense, yeah, a significant discount if you're a golfer. And I've been doing it for $150 or $75 versus $150, and I get to go to the beach club and get to use the beach club park.
I mean, you don't get good passes. You're just sneaking in. We have cameras over there. Can we
He took
can we
Cheryl's
go
dad.
up?
He took Cheryl's dad.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
I'm saying that I believe it's a thing that ought to be discussed with
That's
the
where they
board.
were.
I think it's a good suggestion. And I think the
God, you
import of
don't know
suggestion
the
is
inside joke
not
of
give away things free, but to attract younger membership who are not tracking. We have a very hard time tracking, and that's what the point is. And the fact that one amenity is growing, the other one's not, trying to find a solution that will help the thing that we're losing members on. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous not to try. But
Bill, go ahead, 'cause I'm going to bring us back to the budget here in a minute.
Thanks.
well, this is the business plan. I agree with that, Thomas. Not budget.
That's fine.
First of all, the free passes for the members, are they in your budget anywhere?
As far as
explain to the group what you're talking about. You and I know
Like he
it.
did before. No, he did before. He
Is
said,
everybody
he said
clear
that-
on the free passes?
that the members,
it's in the
depending
business
on
plan,
which,
and
you
they have
you
to
talking
do-
about?
like full-time members
for
get 6
guests,
passes.
that's in there.
Yeah, guest passes.
Yeah,
and all that.
It's in the
Because
it's in
that's,
the membership.
Portion of the
Portion.
business.
But it's in there. It's
I
in
know,
there.
but that takes away the availability of ground.
That's
Each
true.
one of those things. So have we showing that anywhere, in
No.
your calculations?
Well, we have so much space available in the golf course. Not a concern. Except for Monday mornings. Well, when there's
Okay, and get back to the. I don't want to get back to that last conversation because it took like 45 minutes. But in your talk there, you talked about you thought the pool and the golf course would be more for outside members.
I said that I believe it would
Right
be-
now, we're talking
I agree
about
with that.
inside.
I believe it would be
Sorry,
easier.
I wrote it right down.
I believe it would be easier. I sense that it would be easier to establish a youth component, a youth member component of the club. Easier from outside.
What do we define outside?
And here's why.
What are we talking?
Non-association members.
Non-association
Non-residents,
members?
That's right.
That's outside.
And here's why. Back to the golf course. There is a younger component of the really good golf likes God. And it could be that simple.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because I was trying to
I'm
get
not
in
saying
that to stop 20 minutes of talking about amenities and all that kind of stuff because it wasn't talking about inside; he was talking about outside.
Why?
I write stuff
That
down.
was a different topic.
Deer Run's closed. Have we approached any of their members? I mean, that's good for us, less competition. But have we
Well, I
done
don't-
anything about their membership?
Well, I don't have a membership list for them, so
Yeah, something
I
like
can't track that.
around.
I think for the most part, the people that are members of Deer Run probably go to Bay Club Roast Resort more than they come here,
Well,
just given the price and the comfortability of it.
Because of money.
But it might not. We gotta,
I mean-
some of them are from here.
Absolutely. I mean, our
Former-
membership's open. We're not closed off to anyone.
Okay, packagers. It's our lifeblood. Nobody, can tell me any different that we're going to fill with residents and that kind of stuff. Did we do marketing to them, Christmas time, Christmas baskets or anything like that? Kiss them on the cheek or anything
Yeah,
like that?
I've talked to them all throughout the fall. Worked a couple of deals with them going into the springtime. We got all these trade shows. They're starting here in 2 weeks. They run from the first week of February all the way through about the end of end of March. They're up and down the East Coast, all the way into Canada.
Yeah, I know
So-
you're dealing with them. I'm talking about from,
Yeah, I've got-
from LU's perspective.
we
Have
have-
we done anything for them as
We've got very
thank
good-
you for what you're doing?
Yeah, we have very good places. I'm looking forward to a good year. I think that Brissett is poised for a good year, and fortunately, with all the bad weather heading up north now, I think people are going to start thinking about playing golf here in the spring.
Okay, if you hadn't asked for the carts, would you have asked for the tractors? Superintendent asked
Say that again.
if they hadn't asked for the carts.
Okay, got that part.
100,000, would they have requested the tractor for the superintendent? I'm just trying to get, you know,
I think
The fairway
matter.
fairway motion. Yeah.
It was make it easier to ask whether if it was running our business.
You know, I just remember the grease
So it's
slick,
not one or the other?
grease slick going
Is that
on
what you're
12.
getting to? It's one or the other?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Was it, you know?
But the hoses and the hydraulic system on those fairways, that yeah, it's the nature of the beast. If you put a hydraulic unit out there, you don't have the risk of hydraulic. The question is how much and where are we? I mean, replacing hydraulic hoses doesn't cost. So let me ask you to answer the question. Here's what's interesting about Ocean Pines. Those are 10-year-old fairway. So the 2005 model year. We have and they have 1,680 hours. I think that's what they were. I think there were 1,680 hours was the. If I'm wrong about the numbers, I'll get them to you. We have 2002, same number of fairways that have 4,800 hours on them in what would that be in 14 years? We're going to put new reels in them. We're going to run them because that's you have to do in a golf. I'm not saying we can't. We have to go to 4,800 hours. No. Yeah, 4,800 fairway. We got to go past 60. The fairway units that I was referring to, the group added 300 hours per unit, and they all have been like 20 hours just and each year they only add here about 218 hours. So that causes me to think, as a professional doing this, do we need 2 units or do we need 3 units? That would tell me you do 400 hours in a year of 3 fairways, and 600 hours, and 300 hours in each of the 3 units at another property. The right number of fairway units is 300 hours a year, which means by hours we're putting on those 3 fairway units, 3 times 200 is 600. Really only 2 units. Does that make any sense? Productivity of a fairway unit should be more than what we're getting at. Not only in acres mowed, but in longevity of the expensive. And for that reason, I'd say no. We've got to find another way to get better. Now, and that goes to the point where, what if we have to replace a $3,000 transaction? Well, we got 3 units. One goes down, what do I have? I have to build a fairway. But if 2 units go down, if 1 unit goes down, I order $2,500. I call Bob. We try to save, back it up in the budget, and we try to save some money in another way. We're trying to find an economy, and we go spend the money. Successful. So, but how do you budget for? We just spent $1,000 in those units last year, getting them to finish the year. I want that $1,000 we spent last year to next year, because you don't know when that transaction. It's a rest issue. It's not a performance issue. It's a structural stability whether motors are attached to the transaction, the actual drive. Well, I don't want them to replace it in February. I don't want to buy $160,000 of fairways. I don't want them to spend $75 to replace all 3 transactions at one time. Because if one transaction goes bad in May, if another one goes bad in September, I want to replace the other. But
That all we spent last year was $1,000.
per unit, $950 to repair the transactional well.
Okay, but
On
is that
the-
what we
on the
spent
motor.
last year?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was way. I'm sure it was way more. We spent about $32,000 in repair and maintenance last year.
So you just told me 1,000 a tractor. Now you're up to 32,000.
No, 1,000 for this repairing this particular item.
I'm talking about tractor. I'm not talking about one particular. I'm about total tractor. Okay. My thing is maintenance. This community has invested a lot of money in maintenance of this course, and I am under my watch. I'm not going to let it go down. In your business plan, you talked about getting riding mowers to mow our greens to save time on payroll. That just we hand mow our greens now. If they're the best in the market, why would we change to put tractors on our mowers? Or tractors on our greens?
Well, and
I know it saves.
and
it saves time with labor. Like the 5-10 minutes or whatever.
I don't remember, and I could be wrong, but I don't remember saying we're going to put take walk mowers off greens, put riding mowers on greens. Say that. Here's what I know for sure. When you walk mow all your tees and walk mow all your approaches, you're doing something that 5% of golf courses do, because that's how it's done. Now, it's because of soil, and because you already have those mowers to use, and it costs more money to change it around not to use those mowers. That's why we recommend. But to walk mow approaches, the way we mow them here, and walk mow tees, you can get the same product riding. And I know it doesn't sound very good when I say that, but we use that same process. We use triplex mowers on different conditions and Arbor Links, Valley Hack, and all our finest, as good or better putting service. And it's what you do time. So it's right now he's got walk mowers to mow tees and approaches. He doesn't have the riding equipment, or the riding equipment isn't up to speed, or I actually don't know actually the status of that equipment. But it's very, very expensive thing. So my thought was, if Rusty asked me, where can we save some money? And that question is, does it affect? Absolutely, never. It's not part of the goal. When we say this is what it's got to be, the question is, what options do you have to get there? Well, is it exclusively walk mow? Can you get it from what it used to be to what it is using walk mowers and get it there by walk mowers? But do you have to maintain it with walk mowers to keep it there? Clearly no. But that is what we're using. So that.
One last thing. Try not to take 15 minutes because we got to have a book here. But you said before that you weren't happy with the condition last year. Do you meet with your superintendent on a weekly, monthly, every couple of weeks? I mean, you meet quite often to discuss conditions, go out and look at the conditions?
Yes. Now, mostly every time I'm here, and sometimes I'm not. I can learn it sometimes. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to run along with him. I want to take the tour with him. Sometimes it's John. Sometimes it's just. So, I was pleased with the conditions of the golf course last year, except for one really dry period in August. It's when we aerated greens. It's when we aerated greens, tees, fairways, and approaches. And then we got a drought. And he pumped more water than he said he ever pumped ever. It's the driest 5 or 6 week period that he's ever experienced since he's been. Well, that was news to me because I'm thinking, okay, it's dry. One of the conditions that occurred during the golf was it was okay to run a cart over here, and 75% of the areas in the golf course, it was okay, except around these spring. And that to me said if you get those up to speed, not only will it look better, play better, you won't have to spin grass, water laying, cart truck. It's just a tremendous golf course. Check to see where he is with that. But yeah, so that was a disappointing period. I think there was some evidence at the end of the year when you get to see all the goosegrass and the crabgrass that was in the fringe, some of that. Thought number 8 fairway did not meet expectations. 9 fairway. 8 fairway had a lot of. It was the worst population of goosegrass ever, and yet it's the first fairway. And he says, "You always have." I asked him to take a different tack, because we're not going to have that problem next year. I don't care if you kill half the grass. We're going to kill it. I mean, it looks terrible. So let's take a different tack and work together to develop it. Because there's grass there, that sort of transitions to 9 fairway. Those fairways are the fairways that don't have great drainage. They never had a great stand of grass. They have this problem with poor drainage means disease. It means spindly grass. It means nothing purged. Stability, no stability. A lot of weed encroachment.
Sorry, we're getting off the budget.
Yeah, I know, but now that you've introduced it, try and make it quick.
Yeah.
Scott, you're talking about a specific range.
Yeah.
Okay. Broader question for the board is the overall drainage that we had in the past pretty much stopped. We basically did 9% driving, 7 on front, well, 11, 12 cents done, and the 8, 9 not mentioned. Right. There is significant difference in your mind. And is that something we should think?
What a tough question to ask. Some of the difference is visual. The bunkers look old, and the holes that didn't
Didn't get
done, and they look all that neat on the holes that did get done. And it's certainly apparent when you come to the holes that aren't remodeled that doesn't have that flowing. Oh, this is God. You have a trench rut 9 barrel where this has never been there. So all those have. I don't know how to answer your question. Yeah.
We had a program that took a hole or two, maybe, a hole out of commission, and that 19 hole, the par 3, and that was the modus operandi. We budgeted each year, put the money in the reserve, took the money out of the reserve. One hole. And I do that. Okay.
Well, there's. First of all, I don't see any way to proceed without a negative impact to revenue, even including that 9 holes. You start doing it 1 year, you always have. Now, I understand it was sort of the Shazam drainage done, shaping done, everything decided, technical bit, open it up. Still, a month later. So you have a negative impact.
You're having a whole well, you have an 18-hole course, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. They're going to play this golf. Challenge. Not you.
Well, okay. I got a feel for. Yeah, it's hard. It's been hard for the last 8 years.
Okay, one quick question and a short answer.
It's a recurring thing.
Carts. New carts versus replacing batteries. Big difference in.
And can I just add
No,
one thing to that?
no.
No, leasing.
All right, you
Three.
can.
Okay. Let me do the leasing question first.
No, to address her question first.
Really want to. Okay,
Address her
so
question.
Buy versus lease.
okay. Yeah, I prepared this because I thought it might be. I tried to do this scenario. There should be 2 there at least. Here, I don't need 1. There's a scenario where We have, and I'm hoping you'll be corrected if this is not the case, but I think we've made the last lease to own payment on the 10 golf carts that were not part of the original fleet. There are 10 white cars. All right, well, you're going to read here. These are the 4 different scenarios that we see. Because we have something back to. Here's what it looks like. The 2009 golf cars, even the gray fleet of 65 and the white fleet are 2009 model. I think the gray fleet, please correct me, is a fleet that had new batteries.
Yep.
And they are
almost 3 years old.
They're almost 3 years old, and they consist of 4 12-volt batteries.
Yep.
There was a big kick back in that period where all of the manufacturers, Yamaha, Yoko, and Club Car, went to 4 12-volt batteries as their 48-volt system. Nobody does that anymore, and because it was a complete failure as far as performance. Not only does battery life not work well, the charging, somehow it just didn't work. Nobody does that anymore. Everybody went to the 8-volt system, which is a bulletproof system. So there's an old technology in the cart fleet that actually doesn't utilize the most battery life out of a long life heavy duty battery. Get better, but still doesn't have that technology. In 2000, the value per cart, if we were to buy for $1 buyout, I think $1 buyout of those 10 carts, you'd have 75 carts. By trading in, by refurbishing 75 carts, you have the cost, the cosmetic costs, mechanical costs, and it's just separation in their battery costs. If we were to summarize what that looks like, you still get 3 years out of it. You can do that. You just have old carts. Doesn't match the $90 price point. Doesn't matter that it matches the $65 price point. Nobody has those carts. And there's an unknown cost involved with operating that cart fleet for 3 years. At the end of the 3-year period, since that's how long these batteries are expected to last, you could trade them in for a new cart fleet, of which time they would be worth approximately $250 a cart. Right now they're worth $750. Each year, a cart devalues about $250. I just got a price this morning from Club Car for the trade-in of a 5-year-old fleet at Renditions, and they're worth $1,350. I give the value of $12 here, so I know that's low. So we're going to trade our cart fleet in for a new 5-year cart. We already have $108,000 of equity in that cart because we own them. So in a $350,000 purchase, we basically only pay $240,000. That's how much it costs. Now, when you decide to finance that, buy it lump sum. Because we don't have the cash in reserve, buy that golf cart. We lease it to own. We lease to own. It's a capital lease. So it's another mechanism of finance. We don't true lease any golf cart fleet because we think we can have the best of both worlds, a great fleet 5 years and excellent fleet after 5 years. It's a little bit less expensive to lease over a period to do a true lease. At the end of a term, you get new technology. You can buy it out over on market value, which is actually agreed on front end lease. So it is an option. That's not what we do, and that's not necessarily what we recommend. Any owner that has cash available just decides if it's more valuable in the bank, more important to do it to something else that's not financeable. A new roof sometimes financeable. What a cart fleet is, easier to finance. So I take my money then in cash reserve and I buy the new roof and I finance the cart fleet. But if it's all available, I probably buy that cart fleet outright because I can't get 6% or 3% on my money. Or did I confuse things too much?
No, you gave us a piece of paper that we'll now mull
You just
over.
need to read it. We need to read this.
So, and this tells the story. You can do whatever you want. We need a great cart fleet that lasts for a predictable amount of time for a predictable price. something like
Are we going to get a new page here? Since what I gathered from listening is that, well, the projections in your business plan call for a year-end projection minus 90. This calls for a minus 141. And you made a statement I'd never seen that before. I just need to know, are we going to get a new page here because there's a lot riding on and are we going to get revised numbers in the business plan or are we just going to ignore the business plan?
I can revise this number. The business plan. I'll figure it out. I have a question for Art, actually. We can supply any of these labor and labor-related payroll costs, payroll taxes for each one of those departments. We can break those out. I can do that if that's what I want. Yes, please. Okay, yes, please.
And how they can understand.
And then all we do is take that departmental cost, subtract that number, and that's the result. That's great. And then I'll let the
labor includes payroll.
it includes payroll taxes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it'll be separate.
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp. If you tell me what's in there, I can tell you what's broken down. I just.
Okay.
Bless you.
Every month.
I saw 50 grand, but not necessarily off. It's not lining up at all. It's just
He's
what am I
on
doing? Am I supposed
He's
to do?
coming out and working again. You think?
I was wondering why I was getting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Had nothing to do with the heat coming on.
Oh.
He's ready to do battle.
All right, are we good with golf?
We're ready.
Can we go with these guys?
We're done.
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Oh yeah, let me just
Certainly will.
talk to you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, tomorrow night, just as a heads up, I'm making arrangements to go to the Ashton Room Community Center, just in case the heater's not working right. Figure we'll go ahead. They've got it working now, but they've got another part coming in, so I don't want tomorrow to end up. What's that?
You mean it was scheduled to be here?
Yes.
Yeah, it was advertised. Advertised.
We can do it. Look, I just moved it, didn't I? How about great idea? Perfect. Thanks
Good
for
move,
doing it.
Bob.
Oh, I thought it was going to be there at the beginning.
Never.
That's where we have our town hall meeting.
Golf.
See you, John.
Good to see you.
I'm just going to get the direction of saw the agenda. Yeah, because of the just got the forward.
Maintain what you
Yes, it's in there. It's in there.
Oh, you mean I have to maintain what you have? What? Maintain? You have to maintain all the time.
It's a lease.
It's a lease. We're leasing.
Oh, with a buyback?
Yeah.
Because I think what you.
They need it now. They need it now. They need maintenance now. They needed windshields all winter or all summer.
These guys will do here. We get constant breakdowns.
Basically,
Clean them. Every night. That's right.